back, lone survivor last. They got me in the sights. No surrender, no trigger, fingers go, living the dangerous life. Hey, 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 every day when I wake, I'm trying to get up, they're knocking me down. Hey, 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 when I need to be saved, you're making me strong, you're making me stand. Shot like a rocket up into the sky, nothing can stop me tonight. You make me feel invincible, earthquake powerful, just like a tidal wave. You make me brave, you're my titanium fight song, raise it up like the roar of victory in a stadium. Who can touch me, 'cause I'm who can stop me tonight? You make me feel invincible. I feel it, invincible. I feel it, invincible. Here we go again, I will not give in. I've got a reason to fight. Every day we choose, we might win or lose. This is the dangerous life. Hey, 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 every day when I wake, they say that I'm gone, they say that they're gone. Hey, 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 when I need to be saved, they're counting me out, but this is my round. Shot like a rocket up into the sky, nothing can stop me tonight. You make me feel invincible, earthquake powerful, just like a tidal wave. You make me brave, you're my titanium fight song, raise it up like the roar of victory in a stadium. Who can touch me, 'cause I'm who can stop me tonight? You make me feel invincible. I feel it, invincible. I feel it, invincible. You make me feel invincible. You make me feel invincible. Shot like a rocket up into the sky, not gonna stop. Invincible. Feel invincible, earthquake powerful, just like a tidal wave. You make me brave, you're my titanium fight song, raise it up like the roar of victory in a stadium. Feel invincible, earthquake powerful, just like a tidal wave. You make me brave, you're my titanium fight song, raise it up like the roar of victory in a stadium. Who can touch me, 'cause I'm who can stop me tonight? You make me feel invincible. I feel it, invincible. I feel it, invincible.
All right. Woohoo! That was fun. Woo, I'm so glad everybody is here today. Okay, so if you are here, whether you are on the Facebook Live or whether you're here with us live in the actual studio, or whether you are, let's see, where are we at today? We're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, we're on, did I say Facebook? Yeah, and YouTube. Okay, we are live streaming to a lot of different places today, and today we are going to do a full Q&A for you, all about precision healthcare, what it means, what it can do for you, what it can't do for you. And we're just going to give you guys just, the full on truth about how people are healing today in 2026. So, if you're here in the studio, and we've got a couple of different studios going on today, we've got a couple of different links for people to get in at. And so, if you're here in the studio, just go ahead and drop a little message in the chat and let us know where you're from, your name, right? The good stuff. So, because we want to make this an interactive meeting. And if you are currently on the live streams and you want to go ahead and be here with us and ask questions here in the live studio, I am going to drop that link in the chat right now for you. So everybody can jump in here and you guys can ask me questions. That's why I'm here for you today and give you a little bit of training and also, get some of your own personal needs met when it comes to your health. So, okay. So that's the link that I just put in the chat, theriverside.com/studio Sunday Healing Room. That is where you can go ahead and just click on it, and it will automatically let you in here to our chat room. All right. Okay. And so, if you don't know me, my name is Dorinda Smith. I go by Dory. Someone also dubbed me as the autoimmune geek, and it's stuck. And I really love that because I am a geek for you. I've always been that, weird little kid that had to know every little tiny little molecular detail of everything. And so that is me. I am your geek. I am the scientist in your back pocket. I am the woman who was going through her bachelor's, master's, and PhD in immunotoxicology. And I was specifically studying in the master's and the PhD program, I was specifically studying chronic illness and autoimmune disease. And then God decided that he was going to change my life. And for a while, it didn't look like he was changing my life in a very good way at all, because he allowed me to start getting really, really, really sick. And within about 3 years, I had developed 7 autoimmune diseases and severe fibromyalgia thrown in just for good measure. All right. So, long story short, and I will give you guys the link here just a moment. Let me grab this link so that you guys can watch my story, the whole story. I'm just giving you the little Reader's Digest version here today. Let me put this link. This is our promotional flyer that just has all of our links and my story and, how to watch me on TV and, how to hear me on the radio and all that good jazz. Go ahead and get that link in there for you. So that's a Google Doc. And you can just click on that and it will let you in. It's open for everybody. And you'll see my link is there for my own personal healing story. And so you definitely want to watch that. You want to hear all the details, but I just warn you, make sure that you have your tissues with you when you do, because I'm sure it's going to, pull on your heartstrings a little bit. And it's probably going to bring up your own feelings about your own chronic illness and how extremely difficult it is for you, because I've been there. I wound up being sick for almost 15 years before the Lord showed me how to heal. And now I know that it was all for a purpose. It was all so that I wouldn't just have the head knowledge with knowing everything there was to know about autoimmune diseases from the scientific perspective. In order for me to really learn everything that I needed to learn, I had to walk through the suffering myself, and I did. And I nearly lost my life. And then finally, God showed me the way out. And so that was 10 years ago. And so I was able to get off of all 20 of my pharmaceutical medications. I'm not on any medications for 10 years now. So I am essentially reversed. And I call it being cured, even though, scientifically, that's a hard word to use. But the truth is that there is nothing with my health that is limiting my life anymore. And the way I lived before, I was definitely extremely limited. I couldn't work. It got so bad that I had to go out on disability, and I nearly lost my life. And now I am in my early 60s. I'm not a young spring chicken. And yet, I am healthier today than I have ever been. And I believe that because, I can look back at my life and I can look back even as a young teenager. I can see where a lot of my symptoms started. And they started when I was just a little girl. I was only 12 years old when things started really getting out of control. And of course, we didn't know back then what we know now. But the truth is that knowledge is power. And God does give us the knowledge that we need. He is continually loving us, continually training us, continually teaching us. And that's why you're here today. That's why you're watching this video. And even if you're not watching it live and you're catching it later at some other date on a YouTube video or in a short or whatever, right? You are meant to hear this truth today, that you absolutely can feel better, that there is more that you don't know, that you haven't learned yet, because even your doctor doesn't know this stuff yet. A lot of this research is newer, right? And there's even brand new stuff that I have to keep up with all the time. I mean, science is ever changing. We are constantly learning things. And yes, so long as it's true science, it's not just pharmaceutical funded stuff that, you know, yeah, there's a whole controversy in that, right? But yeah, you know, the science is real. It's not woo woo. It's on PubMed. It's from places like Harvard and MIT and all the famous research centers from around the world. And yes, we definitely can, if we're working at the root cause level and we're working on our root causes. Yes, we definitely can reverse chronic illness. We definitely can reverse autoimmune disease. We definitely can reverse things like thyroid disease and Hashimoto's, Graves, right? We can reverse all manner of chronic illnesses. We can reverse diabetes, even type 1 diabetes, not just type 2. Yes, we can to a great extent. We can reverse the symptoms and the severity of type 1 diabetes. And we can definitely reverse type 2 diabetes. Nobody has to be suffering with type 2 diabetes today. It's a matter of you just learning what you need to learn in order to reverse this. And then you can get off your medications and you can get off all of this, crazy symptom management stuff that, people have come to believe that that's what medicine is. It's just symptom management. And I'm here to tell you, and there are many, many, many other great doctors and scientists out there who, we're all coming to this realization, especially in the last, 10 to 15 years, that, yeah, most of the chronic illnesses that we see at epidemic levels today are both preventable and mostly reversible, depending on the person, depending on, how much work they want to do, how long this is, gone on. But, I had my illness for many, many years, since the time I was 12 years old, and I didn't start my healing process until I was 53. Okay, 53, 54. So, that's a really long time to have severe chronic inflammation throughout my body, which is what caused my 7 autoimmune diseases. It's what caused my severe fibromyalgia, is all that rampant inflammation in my body. And we found out that it was from many different root causes. And this is what we know today. The science is very clear on this. This is not woo woo, and it's not my opinion only. The science is very clear that nearly all of the symptoms that you're suffering with, no matter what they are, no matter how crazy they seem, no matter how they seem to travel from place to place and change from day to day, nearly all of the symptoms that we see are due to chronic inflammation. And so, in precision root cause healthcare, and specifically in the system that we use here at the Cellular Healing and Longevity Center, our system is a patented system that literally takes the latest science and helps you to not only get the knowledge, but to actually walk through and take action and learn how to give your cells everything that they need in order to do this job of healing you. Okay. And so today, what I want to do is I want to give you the basic plan of action that we take here at the Cellular Healing Center. And again, we're using a system called Precision Root Cause Healthcare. And we teach this to doctors and nurse practitioners and health coaches. And we also teach it to the patient, right? Because really, the doctors, the scientists, the health coaches, the nurses, okay, we're all out there just to teach you the knowledge. But guess who has the harder job in healing? It's you, right? And you need to have this knowledge because you need to be able to apply it. You need to be able, in every single day, to be able to have the knowledge and then to be able to apply it so that you can make better choices for your health. And it's not just about nutrition, you guys, okay? I know there's gurus out there who say, oh, it's just all about going on the carnivore diet and then you'll be healed. Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, okay, carnivore diet can do a really good job for you. Ketovore or ketogenic diets or even Mediterranean diets can do a massive amount of weightlifting for you as far as helping your cells to have everything they need. But it's not the whole picture, okay? It's just not, according to the science. And so my job is just to give you the truth and give you the research, right? Give you the links to the scientific papers. And, so that's what we do here every single week. Every Sunday afternoon, unless I'm on vacation or something like that, which I am next week, by the way. I am going out of town. We are just here to give you the truth and to help you come to the knowledge that you need. And by the way, the whole purpose in doing this is not just so that you can heal physically. We are a Christian ministry. And, the Lord healed me. And the Lord has been faithful. And my whole job, my whole purpose for being alive today is simply to be able to give you the love that you need and the knowledge that you need, not just so that you can get rid of some of these symptoms that you've been dealing with that have been so upsetting for you. It's so that you can learn how to be everything that God created you to be. Everything. Everything. Because there's so much more that God has for your life, and your story really is not over. And it doesn't matter what your doctor said, okay? Your doctor doesn't know everything. He's not God. Neither am I, okay? But your doctor doesn't know all the latest science that's out there either, okay? Even a lot of good functional medicine doctors out there are still practicing old school functional medicine. And there really is a better way, okay? And so that's what I'm here to teach you. All right, and so let me just give you the breakdown of what the Precision Root Cause Healthcare System is. Whether you are a patient listening to this information, or whether you are a doctor or a nurse practitioner or a health coach, and you want to know, okay, what is the latest? If you really are searching for what is the latest information that we absolutely know scientifically that works, not the fluff, not the woo-woo, not the hearsay, not just, not a bunch of stuff that's on the internet, okay? But what is the reality of what we can do today? Okay, first of all, you need to know that cellular regeneration is a real thing. It's a real science, and it's the way God designed your body to live. If you didn't regenerate billions and billions of cells every single day, you would not be alive. Okay, so your cellular regeneration is happening all the time. And it's especially happening when you're sleeping. That's why sleep is so extremely important, and you absolutely must prioritize your sleep. And if you can't sleep, there are ways to help you sleep. Natural ways, beautiful ways, with diet, lifestyle, nutrition, working on your genetics. So there are so many ways to help you to feel better according to the science. And here's what we see in clinical practice: we see people getting, on average, anywhere from 70 to 80% better, depending on the person. Okay, and there's a lot of different variables that go into play there. But on average, people get 70 to 80% better. Many, many, many people describe near complete reversal of their diseases, where they're able to get off their medication, they've been able to maintain a healthy weight, they've been able to enjoy a different nutrition plan that, you know, makes them feel wonderful, that has eliminated many of their symptoms or all of their symptoms. Many people get this level of reversal. Okay. Now, we can't promise anything. We don't know exactly, what your body's going to do. Number one, because God's in control of that. But also, you're in control of that. And people have various different degrees of, um, the level of diligence that they want to put into their health, right? Some people, might, you know, think it's okay to cheat 50% of the time on their diet and lifestyle practices and maybe not do them 50% of the time. And if that's the case, then they're probably going to get maybe, 40, 50% results, right? And this just makes sense, right? Doesn't this just make sense? But if if you're really diligent and you care, and you really do want to make those changes, you can. You absolutely can. And you don't have to be perfect at it to get results. So I have lots of stories about falling on my face and making a lot of mistakes when I was healing. And yet I was still able to get to a level where I am essentially healed. Like, I don't have any more signs and symptoms, and I don't have any more biomarkers for any of the 7 autoimmune diseases that I suffered with. And I certainly don't have all the pain and all the craziness that went with the fibromyalgia and all those different diseases. And plus, my brain power just came back online, and I just, I'm like rocking and rolling, right? And I'm getting older. You would think I would start to slow down, but no way, baby. No way, because I got a calling on my life to teach you this information. So, so here's how we do this. If you want to get better, you certainly can. You can learn how to walk through this process, and you can learn how to train your body to have better cellular function and to have better cellular regeneration, and regenerate in a way that, instead of you continuing to live in a body that's loaded with chronic inflammation and recreating cells that really aren't working that great, you can start changing your environment in multiple ways, such that your cellular regeneration starts producing better and better cells that can do better and better work, that can give you better and better energy, that can do all the functions that they were created to do because they have everything they need to do the job, and they don't have all of those many toxic blockages, because you've learned how to get rid of them, because you've learned how to eliminate those toxic blockages from your life. And you've learned how to love your body and to love yourself in such a way that you are giving your cells what they need to do that regenerative process, that healing process. And that is just, I'll tell you what, okay, girlfriend, guy friend, this is such a much better way to live. Okay. And I don't know if people can get much worse than what I was when I was so very sick. By the time I learned how to do this, I was literally near death. Okay. And that is the truth. You can go ask God about it. Okay. You get to heaven, just ask Him. Okay. The the reality of the situation is that even as bad as I was still able to do this. Took some time, yeah, and I had to work on it, and it wasn't a miracle. It was, yeah, it was, in a way, right? It was God opening my eyes and showing me the the other scientific literature that is out there that we often don't see when we're in school. Okay, because we're kind of sidelined and we're kind of taught the pharmaceutical way, and there is no other way because the pharmaceutical companies pay for a lot of stuff. Okay, so you need to know that it's not, it's not woo woo, it's real science. It's just science that's not part of the conventional medical system. Okay, it's the science that helps people to heal rather than be stuck on having to go to their doctor all the time and having to get prescription after prescription after prescription all the time. And honestly, when you look at the way this level of precision medical care is, it is the right way to do it. I honestly believe, I mean, all of us who know this, we look at the whole conventional medical system, not all of it, okay? Because there is good to it. There certainly is good to it. And we're not against pharmaceutical medications. We're just against the way they're being used right now because it really is insanity. It really is. When you look at the science and we look at the clinical data of how people actually heal, and you look at this at the molecular mechanism of action level, okay? Like weird geeky scientists do, okay? Then you look at conventional medicine and you go, whoa, there is a level of insanity going on there, that this is the way we take care of people today in 2026. And I know that as things are changing, our government is starting to change some things. They're just way too little too late. True. Okay. But at least they're doing some things. And things are starting to change. People's eyes are starting to be open. Precision healthcare, functional medicine is no longer considered just woo woo snake oil alternative stuff, right? Holistic medicine is the way medicine was practiced for thousands of years. And science has only corroborated everything that that these ancient healers and herbalists were doing. However they learned this information, they might not have known all the science that we have on these herbs today, but wow, they were right. Okay, they were right. And herbs do work. And of course they do. Why? Because God said they do. Because when you look at Scripture, Scripture said, hey, I gave you the plants for healing. Well, why do you think He said that? God doesn't lie. And so, and when you're here in my tribe with me, you'll quickly get to know me that I am, at my age and with everything that I've gone through and all those crazy Joseph years that I went through, you cannot convince me that everything that the Lord says in the Bible is not true, because I believe it 100%. And I believe that this is why I'm healed. And I believe this is how to live my very best life, is by just looking to Him every day, believing everything that Scripture says, lining it up with the science that we see today, which is just incredible how, science is just late to learn all these things that Scripture has already said. Okay? And so that's why it all comes together in such a beautiful way to help us to really get our health back. And I'm not saying that every single person out there, no matter what your disease, we're going to get you 100% healed. Okay? That's crazy. And of course, nobody could do that. But the truth is that if you sit down and talk with me or a member of my team, and we go over your health history and we go over your labs, and even if you've had functional labs run, most of that, a lot of it, I see a lot of people wasting a lot of money on functional labs. Honestly, guys, really, most of these functional doctors, they're still doing diagnostic medicine. They're not doing true precision root cause healthcare, which is what we do here, right? So let me go ahead and let me walk you through the basic system that we use. And yeah, we trademarked it. It's precision root cause healthcare. That's our proprietary system that we use here. And yeah, truth be known, okay, there's plenty of good doctors out there that have learned how to use something similar to what we do here, okay? Because we're all reading the same science, okay? It's just that I see a lot of practitioners out there making a lot of mistakes, really, and they're making mistakes with people's health. They're doing a lot of good, but at the same time, what is typical that I see them forgetting things. I see them not really getting to those deeper root causes. They really stop at a diagnostic level and then try to help with a natural remedy, rather than going to the deep root cause level and really getting rid of the problem, really attacking the problem at the lowest level and just getting rid of it, or at least mostly getting rid of it. This is how we see people getting the best results and truly reversing severe illness. Okay. All right. And so here's how we do it. First of all, when you decide to work with our system, the very first thing that has to happen is you need to have a root cause evaluation. You need to sit down with me or a member of our team, and we need to go over your health history, go over your previous labs, and we need to have a discussion with you. This can't just be done just by looking at paperwork, okay? We need to hear your heart. We need to get to know you. We need to understand what are the worst things and how do they affect you? How do they limit your life? Because we want to start in those places if we possibly can. Your bigger issues, if we can get those knocked out of your, knocked out of your reality as fast as possible, that just motivates you and help you to do more work for your health and helps you just to become a better and better person, right? And so we need to have that time with you. Okay, so that's step one. Okay, step two from there. And usually, what happens during that meeting is, yeah, we see people's eyes get wide open. Um, a lot of crying happens in those meetings, because we're touching on some wounds, we're touching on some traumas and some really difficult things that you've been through, And me and my team, we understand this because we've been there. Yeah, we've been there in really bad ways. So we get it. We get it. And so, oh, that's my speaker turning off. There we go. Let me turn it back on. And so, sorry about that. And so yeah, we need to listen to you, and then your eyes are going to be open during that meeting just from the discussion that we have over an hour or two. Me and my team can come to a place where we can start figuring out what those missing puzzle pieces are. Those things that your doctor missed, those things that even your functional doctor missed. Okay? We can start doing the puzzle piece work and we can figure that out. And then from there, you can go in a couple of different directions from there, depending on, what people's financial ability is, because you have to remember that this is a new way. It's the next generation of care. And it's extremely rare that we find people's insurance covering it right now. Now, I know our government is working on that, but don't hold your breath, okay? It's going to take a little while. And we're pushing for that too, okay? Because it would just make our life easier if we could get these tests covered under your insurance. But most of the time, not. So it really depends on the person's level of financial ability and what they can afford. And I will just tell you that most people think they can't afford it when that's just a big fat lie that you're telling yourself, to be honest. I mean, unless you're living in a tent under a bridge somewhere, you can make health your priority and you can afford the advanced root cause testing. Almost everyone can. Almost everyone can. And even I myself, when I finally started my own advanced testing, I was broke. I was living on $1,300 a month, Social Security disability, and food stamps. That was how sick I had become and how financially destitute I had become. And yet, I made it happen, girlfriend. I made it happen, guy friend. Okay. And so, if you've got that tenacious spirit and you want to heal, you can make this happen. If you've got a good practitioner who's willing to work with you and who's willing to help you to get your tests at the lowest price possible and only do those tests that you need and then help you piece by piece, that's the way I did it. Okay. And if I can do it, so can you. Okay, but we didn't have medical funding back then. Nowadays, you have medical funding, which is like 0% interest for a long time, and they slashed the payments really, really low. So this makes it so much easier for people to be able to do their advanced root cause testing. Okay, so please don't let that lie get stuck in your head that, oh, I can't afford this, or I don't want to spend money on my health. Well, if you got that attitude, you're just going to stay stuck and you're never going to heal. Okay? Because everything costs money, right? And so, here at our ministry, we're doing our best to make this as low cost as we possibly can for you and still put food on the table and still make payroll here. Okay. And so we're doing good work for you. We're, we're trying to make this as affordable as we possibly can for you. But yes, you still are going to have to invest in your health. That's very, very important that you get the lies out of your head, if you've got them, that you shouldn't have to spend money on your health and your insurance should cover everything. And if it doesn't, then you're not going to do it. And yeah, you're just limiting yourself. You're doing that to yourself when you do that because you really can afford this and you really can do better for your health. Okay, so that's the point where if you've got the money or we help you figure out how to do it, we start your testing. But even for those people that are just destitutely broke, and they literally cannot get it together or their credit is bad and they can't, they can't get the medical funding or, right? We can still help you. Okay, there are still ways to help you even without the advanced testing. Now, you won't get the same level of optimal health if we don't know exactly what those root causes are and we can't work on them precisely because that's what precision healthcare is. We do the advanced testing, we see exactly what the root causes are, and then we do the exact methods to hit those root causes and to help you to heal. And so if you can't do the testing, it does limit everyone. It limits you and it limits us too because we can't see everything. But even without seeing everything, there are multiple things that we can tell just by doing your history. We can tell that, okay, you're making some major mistakes in the way you take care of your body, and that's not your fault. So please don't hear that as a judgment statement. Don't get all mad at me. Don't get your panties in an uproar, okay? Because it's just true. If we're not taught how to take good care of our bodies, and even your doctor doesn't know the science, and your doctor's got metabolic problems, and your doctor's got issues, okay? Then, yeah, of course, no one can blame you for not having this information. But once a good scientist sits down with you and works with you and tells you in a loving, beautiful way, hey, here is the way God designed your body to live. And here's the way God designed your body to live. And here's the way you're living. Okay? Let's start taking those baby steps to get you to live the way God designed your body to live, what the that lines up with science, that lines up with scripture, right? And boom, people get better. They do. They get better. They might not get all the way better, without all the precision stuff. Okay? The precision stuff just lets us do it better, faster, and get far better results, right? But, even when people are destitutely broke and they can't do any testing at all, or they can only do whatever we can get covered by insurance, because we can get a little bit of it. We can get like clues covered by insurance. They just give us clues. They don't give us the full root cause answers, but they do give us clues. And so we can make inferences and we can say, okay, let's just test this out. Let's see if it's this. Let's try some things as though it were this. And let's get you on some good protocols. And then let's see how your body responds. Okay? And so there are multiple ways to help you. Okay? Now, from there, it's just a matter of a process. Once you have the knowledge and you know your root causes, then you just need to work with a good professional like, me and my team, and there's others out there too. Right? So if it's uncomfortable for you hearing us talk about Jesus all the time, okay. We have friends that are Buddhist, that practice this, that are that are right, that are all, that they don't bring religion, or they don't bring anything spiritual in. They just help you with with the science of psychoneuroimmunology so that you can calm your stress down, but they just don't use it with spiritual practices like we do. So, we can refer you, right? The bottom line is that here's what I believe, and I know it's true, that if you are in the sound of my voice right now, it's not a coincidence. The Lord wants you to hear this message. Right? Whether you believe in him or not. Right? Here's what I believe, that he created you, he loves you, and he wants you to hear this message. And it's a truth message that you can take and that you can use. Okay? And so from there, it's just a matter of you working with a good practitioner, because there is no like one size fits all protocol. Like, say, I was talking to a lady on Facebook the other day, and she was all concerned. She really wanted me to give her a specific protocol that works for MCAS. Okay. And I was trying to explain to her in as loving a way as I possibly could that there are no one size fits all protocols for MCAS. And here's why. Or for scleroderma, or for lupus, or for diabetes, or for heart disease, or for Alzheimer's, okay? There is no one size fits all protocol that people can put out on the internet or that a supplement company can make you buy. So please don't fall for that, okay? Because it depends what caused the MCAS, or whatever disease you have, or whatever illness you have, whatever symptoms you have. What caused the inflammation that caused your symptoms is probably an average of 10 to 15 things. And if you're really, 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 really sick, like I was, I had 35 different root causes. It sounds overwhelming, and it sounds really hard to fix. But it's really not. Once you know what they are, a lot of them are easier things to fix, like specific cellular deficiencies. Things your cells aren't just missing, that you just don't know that they're missing until you do a test and you see, right? And you're not guessing at it anymore, which is really cool. That's what makes doing this kind of work faster and more efficient for you, right? And so you work with a practitioner that can adjust, first of all, can create the first protocol for you that is the right protocol for you and your specific root causes. And it's a timing thing, okay? You can't just hit everything at once. You really, and then once you do that, your practitioner needs to be extremely knowledgeable in this field. They can't just be brand new at it, okay? Because there's a lot of stuff that people don't know and a lot of mistakes that people make, all right? And I'm talking about, the practitioners making these mistakes. Okay. And so you have to be working with someone who's been doing this for a long time, who has seen and has learned from all the various problems that can come up while you're working with people in their protocols. Okay. And so the practitioner needs to be smart enough to be able to adjust your protocol. And sometimes that protocol needs to be adjusted like on a daily basis. Sometimes it needs to be adjusted weekly. Sometimes, you get on a roll, you're doing okay for a little while. Sometimes it only needs to be adjusted, after a few months. Okay. But the bottom line is that you need a practitioner to work with who cares about you, and you're not just another number. I can assure you that here we are a small Christian ministry, and every single person that we choose to work with at that level of concierge care, you're like a member of family here. We really do love you. I really do lose sleep over clients sometimes. I mean, honestly, right? That's a fact. That's a fact. And so you want to work with people who just know what they're doing and can help to adjust your protocol as time goes on, as your body heals, and can teach you what it all means while you're doing it. Because most people, I am telling you, even when you get started on your protocol, most people are just assuming things about their health that are just not true, that just don't line up with the science. They're just not true. And once me or a member of my team, once we're able to teach you what's actually happening at the cellular level and why you started taking this particular supplement or you changed your diet in this particular way and these things happened, we can tell you why and we can help you to make it easier to manage, right? Or we can just change your protocol if need be, right? Because you're an individual, you're different. So there are no one size fits all protocols for each particular disease. Okay. But there are things that we know pretty much everybody universally needs to do. Like everybody needs sunlight. Everybody, needs to drink water and a high quality water that's not loaded with toxins. Everybody needs minerals, those types of things. And those types of things, when we can get you to do those things on the regular and really be intentional and consistent about it, you would just be surprised. Like you could just go look on the internet and you can just look up things like the carnivore or ketovore or ketogenic diets. And you will see people saying that, wow, my results are dramatic. Like I don't feel my arthritis pain anymore. I was able to get off of my diabetes medication. My brain fog is gone. I'm off my thyroid medication now, right? Simply by changing your diet. And so your nutrition is powerful and it is a huge foundation. But it's not the only thing because there's also plenty of people who go on these really good diets and they do get healthier. They definitely do say, oh, I am feeling better in this, and this, but I still have my problem here, here, and here. Okay. And this is really where precision healthcare and specifically the system that we use here, this is where it really, really shines because it's not general. it's precision, it's based on your test results. And, trust me, if you're loaded with toxins and you've got all these, you got 20 different cellular deficiencies and you've got toxins out the wazoo, I mean, they're all in the red, you're going to be sick. Okay? You're going to have problems. Now, someone like me or a member of my team can take a look at those test results and go, wow, no wonder she feels so bad. No wonder he feels so bad. So let's start systematically correcting these. And now, I want to ask you guys, doesn't that just make sense? Like, isn't this the way medicine should have always been done? And if you look at the way history is, I won't get into that today, because it's too much of a conversation. We can do that on another day. But, medicine used to be practiced that way, and then a lot of things just changed and got corrupted back in the 1930s, 1940s. Okay. And that's also when, we started getting more and more overloaded with toxic chemicals that not only came in on our food, but came in our environment as well. And just a lot of things changed, right? And now, we're seeing the results of that in the epidemic of chronic illness that we see, all different types of autoimmune diseases and chronic illnesses of so many kinds. But we do know now, not just from clinical experience, but from laboratory proof as well, that we can reverse these things if we do it in a precision way, right? And so we're not offering you a miracle. We're just giving you the science that God has given us. And when you apply the science, and this is the truth of Scripture, the more that you align your life in every single way, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the more you align your life with the way God designed your life to be, of course, life's going to be better. Life's going to get happier. You're not going to have as many pains and limitations and good days and bad days, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and you are totally confused. You never know when it's going to happen or when it's not going to happen, right? I lived my life like that for 15 years, even though I was trained at the PhD level in autoimmune disease. I was like the most trained you can get. I was at Duke University. I was working at the Veterans Affairs Center at Duke University, okay? I knew my stuff. But I knew what conventional medicine was teaching me. I didn't know all the latest science that we have today, that still, a lot of this is still not taught in medical schools. And this is why there's people like me out there teaching it to you and teaching it to doctors. So, the goal is to change the medical system, to get people off of all these big pharma medications that you do not need to just be managing disease. You need to be reversing root causes. Okay. And so you don't need to be managing symptoms with big pharma. And by the way, big pharma literally causes more and more cellular dysfunction, so that then you have more cellular deficiencies, you have more toxicities build up, and therefore you need more medication because you have more inflammation and more symptoms because of it. Okay, hello? Doesn't this sound like insanity, right? You do not have to stay stuck in that system. I'm not saying abandon it, okay? If I had a stroke, I'd be at the hospital. Okay, they know what to do. And I want some of those big pharma medications. And I want those doctors who are specialized in strokes, okay? But what I want to do, and what I am doing, and this is how I reversed my autoimmune diseases, I am doing everything I can, not perfectly, because that's impossible. I'm not Jesus. But I am doing everything that I can to take care of my health, to learn the latest science all the time, like I'm a voracious learner, keep learning it, keep teaching it, keep applying it so that hopefully I will never have a stroke. Hopefully I will never have a heart attack. Okay? Hopefully I will prevent cognitive decline and Alzheimer's. I'll still age, right? Someday I will die and I'll be happy because I want to be in heaven with the Lord, right? But I can do so many things to be responsible for my own health and to be intentional about it. And so that's my calling. That's what I'm here to help you do. Okay? And so let me go ahead and let me jump to the questions. I can see there's a lot of people watching live, but we don't have a lot of people in the studio today. So if you want to come into the studio and you want to ask questions, great. Or I'm also going to put in the chat, I'm going to put hold on just a minute here, 760-460-4349. I'm putting that number into the chat. That is our main number. And all you need to do is just call or text us there and someone will get back to you. We don't have a full-time receptionist just answering that phone all the time, okay? But go ahead and leave a message there and a member of our team will get right back to you, okay? And we'll be happy to answer your questions. Again, we believe that everyone that comes to us was brought to us by the Lord. And so however we can help you, even if it's just one little tiny baby step that helps you get a little bit better, that's what we're here to do. Okay? All right. And of course, we'd love to walk with you like, a lot of our clients, we walk with them their entire health journey. And it might take them 6 months, it might take them a year, it might take them a couple of years. Some people who are really, really, really ill and need a lot of work, okay? But I can't tell you, nothing makes me happier. And the same with the members of my team. We're all in. We love seeing you guys get your results, and we get them for you. Well, we teach you how to get them for yourself, really, because you're really the one doing all the work. But we're just right there with you, holding your hand and continually teaching you what your body is doing so that you can understand it and so that you don't have to be scared of your symptoms anymore. Okay. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch over to the chat. Oh, and first what I was going to do is I was going to I put the phone number in the chat, and now I'm also going to put the link to the Sunday Healing Room. So if you are watching live and you want to ask your question, you can do so now. And I'll just be checking the chat. Or if you want to come into the studio with me, you don't have to be on camera. But I know there are days that, I just don't look great. And I just don't want to be on camera either. But if you want to be on camera or not, and you want to just come in the studio and just talk to me here, just know that when you do, I always have to tell people that we are live and it is recorded and it goes out to the world all over social media for perpetuity, okay? And so, if you're embarrassed or if you want to say anything that you want to be kept private, then it might be better just to call the clinic and to let us get a meeting with you and let us talk to you privately. But I am here. I definitely want to have this Q&A time with people today if anyone has questions. And hopefully I can see the questions right here in the chat. All you have to do is type them in the chat. Okay, there we go. I had to switch over to another chat so that I could see All right. All right. I see that Michelle is in the chat if she's still here. Michelle, do you have any questions that I can answer for you about your personal health today? Okay. All right. Um, so while I'm waiting to see if any questions pop up here for me, um, let me go ahead and give the people who came here today your freebies. So I always promise people that, um, oh, okay. I see your question. I'll get to it in just a second. All right. So I always promise people that you get the, hold on, I'm going to pull it up here. I'm going to give it to you. It's my 7-day fast flare repair protocol. Okay. And that lives on our FullScript site. FullScript is, where we will do recommendations. We give, general protocols there. You can get your supplements at a really nice discount there. And, they also have like low tox, different beauty products and skincare products and things like that at a really good price. And it's the good stuff. It's not the cheapo stuff. Okay, so it's good. So you guys want to check this out. Here is the Fast Flare Repair Protocol. That's free to everyone who is watching today. So let me go ahead and put that where it belongs. There we go. And don't go there right now, right? Because you should listen to my answers to people's questions, because you might learn a lot and you might have your eyes just go, I didn't know that, right? And, it'll be good for you. So you can learn a lot from listening to other people's questions. All right. Okay. And let me go back up and see. Yeah, long COVID dysautonomia. Okay, so dysautonomia, this can be caused from many different things. And whether they say it's from long COVID, which could very well be true, there is really such a thing. This is not just some, woo-woo diagnosis, right? We do know that there is a chronic illness that now they have labeled. It's an actual diagnosis as chronic long COVID. Okay. But what you need to understand, Michelle, is that this didn't just happen to you just because you got COVID. It didn't just happen to you because you got a vaccine, okay, which I know a lot of people believe. All right. But the only reason why people can have any kind of long COVID or chronic symptomology in the first place is because there were other root causes that were present before you got sick. Okay, before COVID hit, like COVID could have been the straw that broke the camel's back for you. And honestly, you could say to me, oh, well, but I was always perfectly healthy before then. And a scientist will tell you that no, that's not possible. There were things going on in your body before then. And the getting COVID or the vaccine was the final thing that your immune system said, all right, I've been dealing with this for a while now. Now I need to start talking about it. Sorry, that's my speaker that wants to come on and off a lot. Yeah, and so this happens so often that people feel that they were relatively healthy, or, well, I just had some headaches, or, oh, well, I had a little thyroid issue, or whatever. And they don't put two and two together and realize that your body is a very complex, holistic machine, including your brain, including your mental health, including your emotions, including your hormones. Your gut health is tied to your immune health, is tied to everything, okay? And your body can only take so much before it finally goes, now I really need to really start screaming and yelling about this problem, okay? And so, in order for me to really help you, what I would need to do is I would need to sit down with you and do a full medical history, get all your labs, and, look at all that data. And you can't overwhelm me with data. I know it's a lot to you. To me, I'm a geek, I'm a weirdo, okay? You give me a lot of data, and I'm just gonna right? And I'm just gonna start figuring things out for you, because there's a lot of stuff in my head that would confuse your doctor or that would confuse you, right? But to me, it looks easy most of the time, right? And so you need to let me take a look at what you got, and then we need to talk about it. And then once we do, usually during that meeting, things are going to start making sense. We're going to start seeing, this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then you got COVID, or then you had the vaccine, and then is when you felt like now you got sick. Okay? But to give you hope, dysautonomia is completely reversible. We just have to get to those root causes and figure out what are all those other things. It wasn't just getting COVID. Okay? And what we've seen in, so I'm an immunologist. I'm actually an immunotoxicologist. It's just a big long Scrabble word that means someone who studies the effects of toxins on the immune system. And this has everything to do with viruses and any kind of toxin, whether it comes from a virus or a bacteria or heavy metals or plastics or mold or whatever, okay? And in our practitioner circles with some of the top people like Dr. Vojdani, most people don't even know who he is, and he's just a brilliant immunologist. And the studies that he had done shortly after COVID, when when scientists started really putting all the puzzle pieces together about COVID, and we really started seeing what was going on, we realized that, number one, all the people who lost their lives, which is horrible, they had major metabolic, mitochondrial, and immunological problems before. Okay. Then there's another whole subset of people who went on to have what we call long COVID. Okay. And long COVID can cause many, many, many different symptoms based on your other root causes. Okay. And your genetics. Okay. And we have to be able to see those things together so that we can get this dysautonomia to go away. Because it's never just one thing causing it. But you need to know that it is reversible. Okay? So if you're in one of those Facebook groups that, everybody's in there just, being upset about their POTS and their dysautonomia and all of their symptoms, and they believe that there's nothing they can do. They believe they're just stuck with this. They believe that, well, because nobody really understands COVID, and it was caused from COVID, so therefore we're all just stuck in this. We're just all waiting for doctors to give us a cure. Please don't believe that. Okay? That's just not the truth. The scientists who study this, and who study this at a level that, the top scientists in the world, okay, we know what the root causes are. We know mostly why people get long COVID. And it has way more to do with all of your other root causes rather than just the COVID. Okay. Or rather than just the COVID vaccine. Although the truth is, it goes back to, and I hope I'm not confusing you because I know this is kind of a confusing subject, but um, it goes back to the fact that the more things you have in your body that cause your cells not to have everything that they need, that cause your cells to do something in a way that they shouldn't, that is actually a toxin. That's exactly what toxins do. Okay. The more things like that you have in the body, the more sick you're going to be, right? And so, what precision healthcare does is we find those things with specific testing, and then we work to eliminate those things. And that's how people get dramatically better. So please don't sit in those Facebook groups and just believe the lie that you're incurable or believe the lie that you have to wait for doctors to figure out a cure for you because we already know the answers. And I can't say that we know all the answers because that's never true. Okay, that's never true. As scientists, we're truth seekers. Okay. And we're constantly looking for that deeper level of truth. There's always something more to learn about your health and your body. We don't have all the answers, but we do have a lot of answers when it comes to reversing chronic illness symptoms. Okay. And even if there is the spike protein that is now in your body that's causing some aberrant cellular behavior, I am telling you, according to the top scientists, that is not the reason why you're sick. That is one small piece of the puzzle. It might have been the straw that broke the camel's back, true. Okay. It might have been a big enough piece that, okay, now you couldn't handle it anymore. Okay. But it's not the only reason why you have dysautonomia. And once you do your advanced testing and you see what all your different things are and you start fixing them, this is how people get the dysautonomia to go away. Their gut issues get better. Their brain health gets better, their memory gets better, their cognitive function gets better, their anxiety and depression gets better, right? All these things that come with chronic illness, they all start to get better. And let me tell you, just as a person who has walked through this, and I've walked thousands of people through this process after 10 years of being in this ministry, I will tell you, you honestly don't know how good you can feel. Even at your healthiest, you can feel better than that. You truly can. Because you didn't know what science has available today to help you to optimize your health, right? You didn't know. So even when you felt your healthiest, there were still some things that you didn't know that were off, right? And now that we have the knowledge that we have, and we apply it to your life. And this is what happened to me, and it happens to most people who have walked through a healing journey with this level of care. We just start feeling great. And we're like, I had no idea. I had no idea I could feel this good. You know, I remember saying that to my doctor. Like, I felt really good after 2 years of healing. I felt like my entire life had just turned around, and it was like a miracle to me. It was amazing. And I thought, great, yay, I made it. And then as the months went by and I continued practicing things and I continued learning new things and I continued, right? I have only gotten better and better and better over the last 10 years. Okay? This is what is possible. It's amazing. It's amazing. And you can do it. You really can. comorbidities. Yeah. Michelle, you mean like, all I always want to define terms with people because what people mean by things doesn't always line up with what I mean by things in the medical field. And so, I always want to ask you exactly what you mean by that. Um, and it's kind of hard to help you in a chat, really. Like if you want a meeting with me, let me go ahead and give you guys. I got to give you the right link for this. Oh, where did it go? Okay, I'll find it. Give me just a second. Give me just a second here. Here we go. Okay. So here is an awesome, really good, cheap way to sit down with me. Okay. Let me just put that link in the chat there for people. Okay. So this is like a baby step. Okay. It's step one. It's getting you into my energy regeneration program, which is super cheap. It's $77 a month. There is no, like, you don't have to stay in it month to month, although, most people do because they get so much benefit from it. But it really is the first step. It covers that first root cause analysis that you can sit down with me or a member of our team. And, it doesn't matter, oftentimes it's me. It just depends on, the schedule. So you can get that full root cause analysis and get a lot of great information, just for joining that program, because we want all that information on everyone once they join that program, right? And then in that program, what we do, it is just like a first baby step. That's what it is. It's not our entire program. It's just something, cheap and little that people can get started on, that they can just dip their toes in and they can really start getting some results, right? So there's a full training that comes with that. There is, of course, the biggest value is the meeting with me or a member of my team so that we can help you to discover your root causes and we can order some testing for you. We can go ahead and give you a more personalized protocol to start following while we're waiting for your test results. And then, of course, once the test results come back, that's when we go to town. That's when your eyes are opened, our eyes are open. That's when we can really start making some major differences for you with your health. And how much it costs from there, I'm always super transparent with people about this. It really, getting into a program with us on a one-to-one level or even in our group programs after this first energy regeneration program, this first energy regeneration program is always people's first step because we want to get your health history. We want to get to know you a little bit. We want to see how you're going to be as a client. Okay, let me just be honest with you. Not everybody is cut out to do this kind of work. Okay. Some people, they don't even want to give up the cream in their coffee. And I'm not saying you have to, I'm just saying if you're allergic to it, yeah, you do. Okay, if it's causing your inflammation, you do. But hey, I have full A2 cream in my coffee every single day. All right, and I love my coffee. So hopefully we don't have to get you to give up your coffee. But my point is, until we know what your root causes are, it's very, very difficult for us to say, oh, well, we have a program and the program is $5,000 and it's for this long and boom, right? Because we don't know how much work you're going to need until we see your test results. We don't know. So there are a lot of programs out there that you can do like a more, they personalize it for you, but I will tell you it's not the level of personalization that we do here because I know these doctors and I've taken training with these doctors. And so, right, I've been in training groups with these doctors. So I know how they practice, right? And they've got a marketing system that really works and it really does help people. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. I'm saying that they choose to practice a different way than I do. Okay, so me, running a small Christian ministry, I prefer to get to know my clients first and then choose who we decide to work with on that deeper level, depending on what your root causes are and depending on what kind of a person you are. Whether you're the kind of person who's really going to get great results because you're a gung ho person, you're not going to give up on yourself and you're going to love yourself and you're not going to be ultra negative, right? You are going to really work at your health, all right? Those are the kind of people that we want to work with because we know those are the people that get really awesome results, right? It's that positivity and that I'm not going to give up attitude, right? That's really it's so important. It's so important to your healing. And so anybody who's watching, whether you're watching now, whether you're watching later, I mean, I don't know, unless you're watching it 10 years from now and we have a different thing that we're offering then. But for now, this is July of 2026, and we are offering the Energy Regeneration Program. It is $77 a month. It gets you that full root cause analysis, which, most people will charge you a good $500 for that. Okay. And so we're able to get that to you at a really, really affordable price. You can cancel it anytime. We're going to put you in a nice little group. We're going to give you a personalized protocol for that. We're going to help you. We're going to love on you. We're going to get to know you, right? It's a really, really good deal. And it's just the best deal we can possibly offer and still put food on the table. So and yeah, I'm a Proverbs 31 woman. I want to be able to help you and also take care of my family. So this is step one in how you do it. All right? And so I don't see any other questions. And it is almost 4 o'clock Central Time. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up today. But just remember, you can order that $77 a month and, get a meeting with me or a member of my team. You can also, if you just have questions and you would just like a loving ear to listen to you and help you decide what the best thing for you to do is now. Okay, let me go ahead. I'm going to put the phone number in here again, 760-460-4349. Okay, that is our clinic number. Usually you just leave a message or you can even text a message there and someone from my team will get back to you. Sometimes it's even me, depending on how busy we are. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today, but I want to pray with you before we go. Lord Jesus, thank you so much. Thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for your truth. Thank you for your love. Thank you for helping us to do this work so that people will no longer be limited by their health issues. People will be able to feel better. People will be able to go out and do everything that you created them to do, Lord. Because that's the most important thing, is that we're not limited from doing everything that you created us to do in our lives. Thank you, Jesus, that you're helping us to do this. Lord, I ask you to spread this message. I ask you to let this message touch the hearts of the people who are suffering and who really need to get healed. Thank you, Jesus. And it's in your name that we pray. Amen. Amen. All right. I love you guys. And I will not see you next Sunday because it's my daughter's anniversary. And so I'm taking her on a little mini vacation for the weekend next week. And we're just going to go to the lake and we're going to go have fun. And, right, we're just going to relax as a family next weekend. So that is the weekend of, let's see, that is Sunday, August 2nd. Yes, Sunday, August 2nd, we will not be here in the healing room, but the following week we will be back and I will see you guys then. All right, take care. Bye bye.